Okay, hello traders, and welcome back to the MarketWatch Group first stock trade video series. My name is Scott Beck. I'm the head trading coach here at the MarketWatch Group, and I will be your host for this fourth in our total of 6 videos helping you place your first trade. I appreciate that you've come back. I appreciate that you're committed to going through all 6 of these to make sure that your process is complete. Real quick recap. First video, basics. Pick a broker, open an account, get a paper trade account ready to go. Make sure that you have all the systems and mechanisms necessary to trade with. Second video, we talked about picking a stock. That's hard. To be like, oh, which one should I pick? How do I do that? How do I keep a stable of constant opportunities ready to go? We did that. Step 3, video 3. Preparing for the trade, analyzing the chart, understanding trend and support and resistance and oscillators and candles, and understanding entries, stops, targets, timeframes, reward to risk, positions. That's so much work we did. We went all through that work. Great. Now what? Now we've earned the right to place the trade. That's what we're talking about today, executing the trade. Without further ado, let's get into it. First and foremost, as always, I need to remind you, we're not advisors, we're not brokers, we don't give guidance, we don't give recommendation. This is for illustrative and educational purposes only. We are a trading group here to work collaboratively, to work together. We all take ownership of our trades. And with that in mind, let's talk about the agenda. First and foremost, what should you have? You should know the stock you're going to trade. What's the symbol? You should know the entry trigger and whether or not it's already come. You should have an initial stop loss so you know what your risk level is. You should have an initial target so you know what your reward level is. So you should know the reward to risk of the trade. You should have a take profit level. You should have a trade management plan. You should know your position size. If you haven't got all of that, go back one video. One video is all you need and you can get all that in place. But if you have all that, now we move forward and we start thinking about navigating your platform in order to place the trade. Let's talk a little bit about trading terms refresh. Stop, market, limit, what kind of orders are you going to place, etc. We want to make sure that you're ready to place the order. I'm going to walk you through it on the Thinkorswim platform. It's going to be very similar on your platform. One thing I would say, and I'll remind you when we get into the meat of the video, make your broker do his job. Walk you through trades on his end too. He's the one who's licensed on that platform, so take advantage of that. But we want to make sure you're comfortable with placing the entry order and then subsequently placing the managing order. So with this agenda in mind, let's dive into the platform and start looking at this in detail. Okay, and now let's jump into the meat of executing the trade. We're in the platform. As we said in the intro covering the agenda, you should have certain information at this point. The stock that you're trading, we did that in video number 2. Google. We should have determined an entry trigger, a stop loss, which helps us to understand our risk level, a target price, which is our reward, a take profit price where we might ease the pressure on the trade. We should have a reward to risk ratio and we should have a trade management plan. And if you look, we have all of that. This is the entry price around 182. This is the stop loss, 176. These are the numbers we just talked about in the previous video. If you want to go back and review them, this is the take profit at 192. We said we're going to do 5 shares there. And then this is the full price, 200. We said we're going to do 20 there. And you'll notice this is for a 25 share position. And we had predetermined that we were willing to risk approximately $150 and that this trade would give us a 3-to-1. That's 450 to 150, at least relative to the main part of the trade. So if you've ever wondered when people talk about, what do you mean reward to risk ratio? Well, you have to have, first and foremost, the concept of risk. Where are you wrong? How much are you going to lose if you get there? In order to do that, you have to have a position size. In order to have a position size, you have to have a trade management risk rule. And so on and so forth. So all of this is what we're building towards having a stronger process for. Right now, it's all about the first trade. Working your way to the first trade. Then the second, then the third, and pretty soon you're placing trades that come from alerts. You're placing your own trades that come from the watch list. And you never hesitated. You can't even remember when you hesitated to make a trade. So we have the stock up here, Google. We have the entry price. We said 192, at or better. We're at 182. We're at 181.95. We have a stop loss. We have a target. We have a take profit. We have a trade management plan. Now you can see I did all of this in the Analyze tab of Thinkorswim. This Analyze tab is magic when it comes to options analysis. But here, even with stock, I did it on the chart. And you can see I can do it that way manually. But this is easier. It's easier just to plug it in. Run the numbers. Make sure it's all makes sense. So this is part of learning to navigate your platform. What analytical tools do you have available even when it comes to a stock trade like I have here? Now what though? Now I need to turn this into a actual trade order. So we're going to do that. I'm going to give it a little bit of leeway. I'm going to give it just a teeny little bit extra. I'm going to actually go 192.25. I'm going to give it 25 extra cents. Remember that what I'm going to do, that means is set a limit price. A buy limit means at or better. A market price means next available price. Give me the next available price. I would do that, but only during the market. Other than that, it's only limit orders, and it's mostly limit orders anyways. So make sure you understand the difference between the two. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn this into not just a buy order. We're going to place the whole thing. This is going to be a first triggers. We're going to create a duplicate order. Now I'm in the order entry, and I'm going to do a first triggers to OCO. This is a fairly sophisticated trade. You can see it's giving me a little bit of direction. It says there should be 5 orders. I only have 1 order right now. I have 1 buy. So the first is the buy, and then the 2 OCO, which equals 4 more orders, are all sell orders. So now I need sell orders. Now I'm going to make this good till cancel just so that I can come in here and I can create a bunch of opposite orders. Opposite, opposite, opposite. I have 5 orders. You'll notice I have a different message. They have to differ somehow. I can't have all limit orders. So what I'm building here is an OCO, one cancels other. Now, if you notice, I still have my price slices up here. So I have 2 OCOs here. Remember, first, that's the buy order. Triggers, I'm going to change my color to blue. This is 1 OCO order. This is the other OCO order. Both times I want to sell at 176. Basically, if this trade goes wrong, I want out at 176. But if it goes right and it goes up to 192, I only want to sell 5 there. So I can do 20 there. That's my total. Okay? So how do we do that? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to 5 shares. And I'm going to change this to 20 shares. So now you can see I have it split up. But I still have all the same kind of orders. So I need limit and stop. Limit and stop. Now, if you're doing this for the first time, you're going to have to replicate it, practice it a few times. That's the case no matter what platform you use. You're going to have to put time into learning the platform. Okay, next. Now I set my prices. Now the stops are always the same. The stop is at 176. And the stop here is at 176. Those are both the same stops, right? That's it. Now the limits, those are the target prices. Remember, limit order equals at or better. So I only want to sell these first 5 shares if it gets to 192 or better. I only want to sell the other 20 shares if it gets to 200 or better. These are common terms in stock trading. Market orders, limit meaning at or better. So now we have this full order. I could just place this and let it go. I'm never going to do that. I'm always going to try to take more out of the stop loss, even though I have a favorable reward to risk, right? I'm still going to manage this trade actively. So what I'm doing here, this is going to both place the entry order, that's the green, that's the buy, and it's going to place all of the sell orders all at the same time. So when I hit confirm and send, you're going to see it says I want to buy 25 shares at one. Ooh, let me make a quick adjustment. Remember, I said I'm going to give it to 182.25. I'm going to give it just a little bit extra room. Now I'm going to confirm and send again. That's why we do confirm and send, to check it. I want to buy it at 182.25 or better. Or better. Now, if it goes up to 192, I'm going to sell 5 shares. I'm going to take $50 off the table. $50. That's it. $50. Plus, I'm taking risk off the table too. Then I'm going to move my stop up too. I'm going to put a new stop for the other 20 shares. I'm probably going to put a stop at 184, so that even if it turns around and stops me out, I still make money on the stop loss. That's managing the trade. Now, if I get the full amount, instead of making 450, I make 360 plus the original 50. So overall, I make 410 instead of 450. A small sacrifice to do what? To control the trade better. To control my psychology better. That's why we have that take profit price, to ease the pressure of the trade. You might not like that in the beginning. If you don't, I promise you'll come back to it. Very helpful way to manage the trade. So now what? Now we've done everything. We hit send, and that's it. We wait. Now, if this was during market hours, we would know right away, and we could put the trade on. So sometimes when an alert comes, those alerts are going to come during market hours. Not always. Sometimes they'll be waiting for you on the open. Sometimes they'll come the last hour. All you're going to do is get in there, place the trade, and once it's placed, you'll have the ability to come back and manage these orders. That's something that we'll talk about. But at this point, we have now executed. We've now executed the trade, and we're ready to move into the next stage, which is managing the trade. And that's what we're going to be working on in the next video. All right. And now, having gone through the platform, we did some pretty detailed steps to place that trade. What are your next steps? As always, move to the next video, because now that trade is on, you need to manage that trade. And that's the next step in this video series, part 5, managing the trade. From here, I want you to practice. You should place a paper trade using the entry trigger, the stop loss, and the target price you defined in your trade preparation. But you need to go through that sequence over and over. Build it, cancel it, build it, cancel it, build it, place it. Force yourself to practice the steps over and over and over again. Familiarize yourself with the process of placing those entry orders, placing the managing orders, canceling and replacing the managing orders. These are the things that we're going to do over and over and over again. These are the things that you can come to the Tuesday, Thursday Trading Foundation classes and ask questions. We're going to do it in there as well. Lastly, make sure you're comfortable with the key trading terms, the order types, what we're doing, etc. Oh, you're getting close. Hopefully the trade is on. If it's not on, you're going to place it soon. Then we're going to manage the trade. Then we're going to wrap it all up, and you're going to be ready to shampoo, rinse, repeat. Do it over and over and over, and know that you're doing it the right way. with that in mind, thank you guys very much for coming out, for continuing to support this series. I appreciate it. I appreciate if you have feedback that you'll give it to me in the suggestion box in Discord on the platform. Let's get ready to move on to managing the trade. And as always, happy trading.